Good morning, Unity and Mesa. It's so great to see you again. For those who are watching in the afternoon, good afternoon, and those in the evening, good evening. So glad to have you join us at some point this week to have your cup refilled, maybe, to experience this for the first time, maybe. I am Reverend Judy, and today I will be joined Anyway, we have a couple of people joining me today. Dan Vega is our musician, and he is from up in Prescott. And we also have Cassandra Bright, who is the owner of the yoga studio, Gilbert Yoga, and has been one of my spiritual teachers along my journey. And she has had the opportunity to sit many times with the author of the book that we are using, The Most Important Thing. And we've invited her to come share with you because she is just full of wisdom. So this morning, I'm going to invite us to look at our affirmation. Our affirmation is, I am willing to allow my heart to shine and know that I am blessing everyone in the process. So I'm willing to let my heart shine, blessing everyone in the process. Can you say that with me? I am willing to let my heart shine, blessing everyone in the process. And let's light our Christ candle, knowing that we are the divine. The Christ candle is our representation and unity of the divine within. And so as we allow our light to shine, that Christ presence emanates from us and blesses each and every person around. And let us take that into prayer for a moment. Take a deep breath in and relax. And we just tap into this sweet, sweet spirit that moves in, through, and as us. And we open our hearts to send out love to this world. We hold those who are struggling with health, those who have been displaced this week by forces of water, those who are experiencing grief, the grief consciousness of the world at the moment, and those who experience that more deeply than others. We hold you in love and light, and we invite each and every person in this world to look at what the self-care is that they need at this moment and be open and willing to receive from each other. When someone calls and asks, how are we doing? We are truthful and we are able to listen to others as they speak their truth. And we do not have to fix, we just are there to be a presence for each other, to walk with each other, with no need to fix, no need to change, just to listen. And for the power of this community and the ability of each and every congregant to listen to others, we are so grateful. And for your willingness to be in community, which is such a blessing at this time. And so we say, thank you, thank you, thank you to all. And so it is. Amen. And now we are going to be blessed by a song with Mr. Dan. And take it away, Dan.
Some days you don't want to get out of bed, yeah. You look yourself in your eyes and wonder what could be said. Like pick yourself up, do better than the day before. But then you realize that trick don't work no more. You gotta follow your heart, it's known you from the start. It'll bring you everything you need, endless possibilities. Follow your heart, world is surrounded by so much negativity, and people want to bring you down and see you on your knees. You won't have it, no, you won't take another day. Next time they try to, this is what you'll say. Yeah. You gotta follow your heart, it's known you from the start. It'll bring you everything you need, endless possibilities. Follow your heart, you will never be apart. It will lead you where you need to go. You'll become a living work of art. Oh, oh yeah, a living work of art. Oh, oh yeah. Feel the beating drum of your life. Be the love and know it feels right. Take someone's hand and hold on real tight. You are love, let your light shine bright. Follow your heart, it's known you from the start. It'll bring you everything you need, endless possibilities. Follow your heart, you will never be apart. It will lead you where you need to go. You'll become a living work of art. Oh, oh yeah, a living work of art. Oh, oh yeah, a living work of art. Oh, oh yeah, a living work of art. Oh, oh yeah.
Thank you so much, Dan. And things for you to know right now. We wish we could tell you when our doors will open on a Sunday again, but at this time we still can't. We are doing research. We are listening to our insurance company. We're listening to CDC guidelines. We're listening to Unity's suggestions, recommendations, and beginning to have discussion about what needs to be in a plan. We know we will not just walk right back into this building and community, because we love you all and we want to make sure that we do this in a safe manner for everyone. So we will know we are working on it, and that we are looking at what is in the best interest of all as we go farther along in this time. In the meantime, though, we hope you'll join us for fellowship in our virtual garden after service today. Go to our website, unityofmesa.org, and register now for the Zoom link if you haven't already done so. Don't wait till the end of the service, though, so we might miss you. So go ahead and do that right now. And we invite those who are visiting for the first time to also just come on and join us for a few minutes, even if you just drop in for 5 minutes and say, hi, my name is, and somebody invited me to the service and I want to thank you for it, or whatever we want. We would love to meet you. We usually get to meet out in our beautiful garden space, but today the Zoom garden works for us. Know that we are offering our Sangha meditation on Tuesdays through Zoom, and that information is available on the website also. And we have a care meetings on Tuesday afternoons. So those of you who would like someone to just touch base with, that is available. Right now we've only got a couple of people who have an interest in it, but we would love to have more join them. It's just a check-in, 30 minutes, just come together and just say, hey, how you doing? It's that opening my heart up to someone else. Maybe I don't need it, but maybe someone else might. And maybe you would be the person to be the light in someone else's life this week if you did that. So check with Nancy at unityofmesa.org to get signed up for that. Prayer list. If you have someone you would like to add to our prayer list, go to our Unity Cares page under the Ministries tab for prayer request forms, and also find information on direct prayer support and other spiritual support that we offer. and wanted to give you a quick little update on our capital campaign. The last thing we did was we collected coins. That last Sunday we were together, and we put them in a big 5-gallon plastic jug, and they got counted this past week and a half or 2 weeks ago. We had $294 worth of coins in the jug, and we know that many of you are continuing to save your coins, find more coins as you're cleaning out your house, or have your coins still left. We will do that again when we come back together, because it was fun, it was delightful, and we would love to have you to continue to drop those coins in if you do not have a need for them right now. And if you have a need and are struggling, please do let us know. You can let us know through the CARES page, and there's a way to connect with us that way. So even though we're not physically in our building, we continue to be responsible for the upkeep of facility and staff. And we're so grateful for any financial gifts that supports this spiritual home, so that we might continue to enlighten, empower, and energize one another to uplift our world for a greater expression of God. And know that there are many ways to give indirectly by ordering books through our website and adding Unity Church of the East Valley as your favorite charity on Smile Amazon and Fry's Awards, and directly through online giving using the Give Plus app, or by sending us a check, and we do pick up the mail every day. All of this info and more can be found on our website, unityofmesa.org. Now, if you would take your gift of love in your hands, and we hold that love in an open palm, just open that palm up a little bit to allow it to have room to expand. And we take this gift of love in our hands, and we say our offering blessing: divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Spirit of Abundance. And now we're going to join in with the song from Dan. Then we'll be going into our lesson.
Don't you know that you are loved by so many, yet don't you know that someone cares? Lift your head up to the sky and you'll find the reasons why you made in his own eyes, ready to change this world, one person at a time. There's a purpose on this earth for every one of us. Look deep down inside your soul and discover it. Maybe you don't know it now, it will find you somehow. Hold it closer to your heart, you will find a way to start. Oh, I know there is a purpose for you. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there is a purpose for you. We are born into a world with so much pain and grief, and at times it seems there is no relief. God has chosen us to do his work through me and you. He has planned a special path. If we only knew, if we only knew. There's a purpose on this earth for every one of us. Look deep down inside your soul and closer to your heart, you will find a way to start. Oh, I know there is a purpose for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure there is a purpose for you. Oh, yeah, yeah. We can change the world, man and woman, boy and girl. If we take back what is ours, heaven on earth is not far. You are loved by the one and only power, raining from above. There's a purpose on this earth for every one of us. Look deep down inside your soul and discover it. Maybe you don't know it now, it will find you somehow. Hold it closer to your heart, you will find a way to start. Oh, I know there is a purpose for you. Oh, yeah, well, I'm sure there is a purpose for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I'm sure there is a purpose for you.
Thank you, Dan. That was so delightful. So it's time for a lesson, and I'm just delighted to bring Cassandra Bright to you all. She has been, as I told her today, one of my top 5 spiritual mentors, teachers, and she hasn't done it by telling me how to do this different, how to do church, but she has done it with little nuggets. So we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to actually do it interview style. And we recorded it a little bit earlier in the week. And I hope you enjoy the gifts that she can bring to this community with her wisdom. And so now, let's meet with Cassandra. Cassandra, we met 12 years ago, 13 years ago. You had just probably started your yoga studio shortly before I started visiting you there. I had been at Unity Village exploring whether or not I really was willing to go to seminary for 3 years there, pack up everything and leave and go back to Kansas City to do that. And I did a yoga class while I was there and was really found it amazing. Asked the teacher, so what do I look for in a yoga place? And she gave me all of these specifications, and I came home looking for something to replace my martial arts practice because that didn't seem to be in alignment anymore with who I was becoming. You know, killing people, training to kill people just wasn't working for me anymore. And I thought, well, yoga might replace that. I was getting the same pieces out of that yoga class. And as I came into your studio, because when I Googled it, it was the first one that showed up based on where I lived and everything. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to try it. I can walk in. And I was just blown away. It touched my heart, it touched my soul, it touched my spirit. And so I've continued to train with you. And our paths have crossed like this. You've kind of come from the yogi route into some of the theological pieces in your studies with Adyashanti a little bit. And I've gone from the theological into the yogi. So it's that blend of Eastern Western that I know our congregation really embraces. So I thought you would be the perfect person, since you have spent so much time with Adyashanti, to have a conversation with our group. And I was just wondering, do you remember that first retreat you did with him? Because every time you went to a retreat and came back, there was a deepening, there was something special that came back with you. It was an energy that was such at peace. and felt so sweet that people were just attracted to you. And it didn't disappear. It just got deeper and more intense every year that you went. So do you remember that first retreat and what you were seeking when you went to it?
Yes, thanks, Judy. I do remember. I remember that my mind was really busy, and it was a whirlwind of chatter and noise. And I think I was getting finally fed up with it, and enough so that I was just craving silence in such a deep, deep way. And of course, I didn't know how I was going to find this silence or what that would be, silence. And I craved silence on the outside. And I suppose I hoped that that would create silence on the inside, but I had no idea what was to come from that first retreat. But someone had told me about Adyashanti, and a dear friend said, I think you'll really resonate with his teachings and the space, the container that he provides for silence. And so I signed up and I went.
Wow. And do you remember what it was like when you got there? And did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah. Yes, I intended to have silence from the moment I left my home and drove to Northern California, or mid California, 11-hour drive, and started my silence there. But of course, the mind was still very loud and very busy. Arrived there, and there are 250 to 300 people there on registration day, all talking and chit-chatting. Hi, good to see you. They see each other each year or twice a year at Adya's retreats, and I didn't know anybody, and it was really perfect for me. I didn't want to have conversations with people. I just wanted to be quiet. But what I noticed was that my mind was commenting on everything that I saw. Every single thing that was in front of me, there was like an inner narration going on, a narrator that was saying, this shirt is this way, the hairstyle is that way, this person's shoes, and just there was a comment on everything. And I was like, are you serious? Wow, this is crazy. And so that was what I was witnessing. And in this book, Adya speaks about our desire for silence, perhaps, and then the irony that as soon as we come into a silent space, what we get is the noisiest thing ever, because we listen to our mind. We get a true awareness, a perspective of seeing how noisy it might be inside. And so this happened, day 1, day 2, day 3, and on, I believe it was the third morning, or maybe the third day after lunch, I'm not exactly sure. But we went to sit in our typical 40-minute silent session where there is no movement. You do not move. Everybody's sitting in chairs, quite comfortable as you can be, sitting 40 minutes and not moving. And this sort of technique-less technique that Adyashanti suggests is just a witnessing or an allowing of things to be as they are, not to be arguing with what is, and the mind being really loud was what was. And so not to battle with that, with the mind saying, oh, I should be quiet, my mind should stop. This misunderstanding of meditation that it's supposed to be controlling the mind and causing it to be quiet. And so with sitting with him, and in the evenings, he gives a satsang, a little dialogue, and each of the, I think we did 7 silent sits each day. And one of the morning sits with him, he gives a little direction on how to sit in this stillness, and what we do with our mind or with ourselves when we're sitting. So this was new to me, this sort of doing nothing and just allowing things to be. But somehow magically on the third day, it was like the chatter stopped. And it just, it's so big to talk about, because the chatter hasn't ever come back. It's just quiet. And I don't know how that happened, but I get a sense that it's a simple shifting of our attention, a shifting of our awareness. And, you know, I was reading these couple chapters in Adya's recent book, and somehow the book was open beside my laptop, and an Adyashanti YouTube clip popped up on Facebook. And so I clicked on the link, and he said these two sentences that I thought, you know, this I'm going to bring to our little talk, Judy. He said, what are you giving your attention to? What are you giving your life force to? And it just is, that's what that shift was, I think. You know, I had been so caught in the mind and in the noise and in the details of life and the external circumstances that I lost the sense of connection to heart or to an inner quietness that's always already present within each one of us. But it's just, where am I looking from? You know, where am I seeing the world from? Through what lens am I looking? And also, what am I looking at? You know, so it's a little bit of both, I feel like. And I can't give in words the the potency of that shift. It brings a tear to my eye that oh, thank God that I don't have to live with that mental chatter anymore. And I don't know really that it's gone. It's just that, and this is a quote from Adya's book, when you leave the mind alone, it doesn't bother you. And meditation makes the mind irrelevant. Those are two real things that stuck out with me.
So that's amazing. Though, I mean, that, and I've seen that shift in you, and I experienced it with you lots of times. And I agree, it is amazing, isn't it? So this time when you came back, you went right after Christmas, or right before Christmas?
Yeah. I went at the very beginning of March, actually. It seems like a long time ago.
It does seem like a long time ago. So at that point, we were getting ready to start this book series, and we were scheduled for a guest speaker for this weekend. And I asked you, so did he talk about his book? The retreat that you had just come back from, was it about his book? And you told me, I don't know anything about a book. And so then my question was, so what did you get out of the retreat this year? Where did it take you?
You know, it's funny because in each of those retreats, there are so many revelations that are revealed, you know, from the inner. And, you know, we don't take notes during retreat. So anything that comes as a revelation, it can be so profound many times a day, many times per each 40-minute sit or per each satsang. And there has to be a sort of like, okay, I trust that if and when this needs to come to the surface and come out or be expressed somewhere in life, that those revelations will show up. And I think as you and I were talking in the studio, I mean, one of my things is I don't remember anything. So that adds to I don't take notes. I can't take notes in those retreats. And I've come to really appreciate that, because you can be completely present, you know, if you're not note taking. But I know that as we talked, and I told you a little bit about the way he was guiding us, that you said, oh, it does very much resonate with the book. And it was very much in tone with the book. It's just that he never mentions this is from a book, or this is in regard to my current book. And but each time I go, I feel like what he's pointing to is something that is a ground of being that is holding space for everything to arise. You know, we're paying so much attention to the stuff that's rising and falling that we lose sense of the ground, of that spaciousness that holds the possibility for all things to rise and fall. You know, I'm envisioning a children's play fountain, these water parks, you know, where they have this pad and there's fountains coming and going, and you never know how big it's going to be and how tall and when it's going to pop up. And the kids are so enthralled with the water coming and going. That's like the mind, you know, the thoughts or life occurrences that keep rising and falling and shifting and changing. But the whole while there's this ground or this surface, if you will, and in meditation or you know, we talk about it as presence or a silence or a vastness, fullness or spaciousness, and at the same time a ground of being. So it doesn't have words, obviously we can't really describe it, but he keeps directing us to that which is prior to the mind, that which is before thought and after thought. What's the silence and stillness that's always already present within us, that we think we have to seek and search for, but ironically, it's always already been there. So to me, that's kind of always the theme, and there's always just a little bit of a different flavor to it. And he did talk about what is the impetus for coming to meditation. And I think that might be what we were getting to in our talk at the studio, is like, what is the drive, or what is the one thing that is moving you into this? And do you remember, can you help me out with?
So, and I remember you talking about your heart ending up being so open, and there was so much about that heart opening that you have experienced there. Do you want to talk to that a little bit?
Yeah. I think in the shift of attention and awareness from the mind, you know, from the mind and the thoughts being such a problem, and just the thoughts where we get caught and we get hooked in all the thoughts, that this orientation to move towards the heart and to move towards feeling, this sensing of silence, not to need to understand it intellectually or to even talk about it with words or try to describe it or point to it, but to get a sense of it. And I think this sort of 24-hour meditation, and when I say that, what I mean is coming from thought into heart, coming into feeling. And because feeling is in the body, it's a visceral thing, it has to do with presence. So it draws us into presence. And even just when I say the word feeling, there's something here in the heart that is palpable, that is felt, this felt sense of being. And he's always inviting us to go deeper with that, to go down into the belly. And I find that now when I lead meditations, instead of having people focus on Agnya Chakra or the third eye, because it seems to be related to the head where we think our mind is, we think our thoughts are here, that we take the attention away from thinking or thoughts, away from the head and down into the body. So into the depths of the chest, the heart space, and down into the belly. And that has really helped me to be more anchored in heart space. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. And you know, one of the things that I really teach my chaplains, my prayer chaplains, is to take that 18-inch journey, which is the longest journey, from the head down into the heart, and then start in the heart and then move it in deeper even. So I love that. And I love the idea of you leading a meditation. So would you be willing to take us into meditation now?
Yes, sure. All right. So I invite you to sit tall, close your eyes, and start to orient your attention down into the center of your chest. Allow your breath to be natural and at ease. And just tune in to your body, wherever you are, the seat that you are sitting upon, the sense of the weight of your body on that seat. and orienting our attention down into the depths of the chest. I'd like you to imagine, if you could, that there's an eye or a set of eyes in your heart. And this eye looking out from the heart, it's looking from the perspective of heart space. And this heart space, it is not filled with ideas of should or shouldn't, of good or bad, of right or wrong. Because it is looking from the space of love. It is perceiving from the eye of unity, wholeness, oneness. So as you look from your own heart space, I'd like you to imagine that in this heart space is a brilliant sun, brighter than 10,000 suns. And you notice that this sun, with its rays shining in all directions, is shining light from the center of the heart outward. And as this inner eye of the heart looks out, it sees only this brilliant light. And it sees you as light. Every cell in your body illumined. And as the rays of vision move out past your own body, you see the world in this perspective of light. You see others as light. And the recognition that we are all held in this same brilliant space of light. And I invite you to sit for a moment in silence, radiating out from your heart space this brilliant light of love. in a moment as we begin to move. And just invite us that as we open our eyes and move to this perspective of these physical eyes, that we allow perception of the heart to keep resonating, to keep showing up in the way that we see ourselves primarily and the world.
And so from the congregation and from myself, I say thank you. And namaste, dear one.
You're so welcome. Namaste.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Diane, would you please bless us with another song before we close out today?
All my love can't save this world. I'm just one man. With all of the greed that holds us down, I can't understand how we just sit down and let the time slip by. I must ask my brothers and my sisters why. You are the light, the love that shines so bright. You are the fire that burns through the darkest night. Don't let the world drag you down. Turn a smile from a frown. Lift your head up to the clouds and see what we all came here to be is free. Free. Oh, free. What's your purpose in this place? Why are you here? And what are you doing with the moments we hold so dear? If you need to walk away and start again, if you need to leave some things behind and bring them to an end, you are the light, the love that shines so bright. You are the fire that burns through the darkest night. Don't let the world drag you down. Turn a smile from a frown. Lift your head up to the clouds and see what we all came here to be is free. Free. Once you make up your mind, take it one step at a time. Leave your worries behind and see that you are free. And you are the light, the love that shines so bright. You are the fire that burns through the darkest night. Don't let the world drag you down. Turn a smile from a frown. Lift your head up to the clouds and see what we all came here
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. And as we close out, we continue this week to hold those who are really struggling in prayer. We hold prayer for them to access what they need to survive, what they need to start to thrive. We hold prayer for their inner peace in all that is happening. We hold prayer for them to find their strength, their wisdom, to allow guidance from spirit to move them forward in the best possible way for their soul's growth. And we always remember that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. We hope to see some of you in the Zoom garden, and for everyone, please be safe. Please be wise. Please listen to guidance as you move forward this week, and have a blessed week.